This is a protein shake. And the more I work with one-on-one clients, the more I see it on social media, the more convinced I am that protein shakes are actually holding many people back in their training and racing performance. I work as a sport nutritionist and help amateurs and pros with their nutrition. And this is from someone looking to do their first 10K all the way to competing professionally in Ironman distance triathlon. In today's video, I'm going to reveal the huge trap that people fall into, how you can avoid it, and give you some examples of when a protein shake might be appropriate. And if you're new here, by the way, then hey, my name's James and I'm a registered sport nutritionist. It's my pleasure to help people to train, race, and recover better by using the power of nutrition. Now, you may know a little bit about protein already. It's one of the three main macronutrients, the other two being fat and carbohydrate, and it's a vital part of your diet. Protein contains amino acids, and you may have heard these called the building blocks of life before. And that's for good reason. Amino acids are required for so many different roles in your body, including your hormonal system, your immune system, and your reproductive system. Consuming protein gives your body the nutrients to help carry out their normal functions. Protein is also the nutrient that, yes, is responsible for helping you to grow bigger, stronger, and more resistant muscle tissue. So it's protein that helps drive the adaptations that will enable you to run faster for longer, push more watts with cycling, and recover after your hard sessions. There's a process in your body called muscle protein synthesis, and this is the term used to describe the creation of new muscle tissue. The way you create positive adaptations to training is this. You exercise and create stress on your body. Your body recognizes this, so it wants to get bigger and stronger. It needs protein to be able to do so you consume protein. The protein that you've just eaten triggers muscle protein synthesis, so you grow new muscle tissue. So the bottom line here is that you need protein in your diet to make positive improvements from your training, which means that protein shakes make sense because they give you that super blast of easy to digest protein, and a good amount of it too. And actually, I think there are some scenarios where protein shakes are useful, and I'm going to run through them for you. But before I do, let's run through why protein shakes might be the one thing that's actually holding you back. When I analyze a client's diet, with relation to protein, there are two things that I look at. How much total protein they're consuming a day, and how evenly they space protein over the day. And there are two things I very frequently find. Their protein intake is lower than the optimal values for athletic performance, even if they use a protein shake, and they eat way more protein in the evening compared to any other point of the day. Unless people pay specific attention to their diet, they commonly miss their protein target, which is 1.4 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. So for a 70 kilo person, this would be 84 to 140 grams of protein per day. Athletes are frequently only eating 10 or 15 grams of protein for breakfast and lunch, and then they may get more like 20 to 30 grams of protein at dinner. And they might get a bit more through some snacks in the day, but they're well under the ideal levels, even if a protein shake is included. But in their mind, because they've had a protein shake, they're grand and they really don't need to think about it anymore. But this is a huge mistake I see people making time and time again. They're neglecting the rest of their diet, neglecting their protein intake in other meals because they're essentially using a protein shake as a crutch. And when I speak to clients about this, the common recurring theme is that they actually don't know what to eat. They don't know what's a good nutritious breakfast or lunch, where they can get their protein from, or the protein content of common foods that they eat. And this is the massive change that you could make if this sounds like you. Spend a bit of time learning about the macronutrients, about the carbohydrate, protein, and fat amounts in the foods that you regularly eat, and learn how you can improve your diet. Because I can bet you that if you improve your overall diet, this will make way more difference to not only your training and racing performance, but also to your health than a single protein shake will. But all of that aside, there are actually some scenarios where protein shakes can be really useful, so let's cover them. And I will add a caveat here and say that I would still try to take a food-first approach. And by that I mean trying to work out how you could hit your protein needs without using supplements. Learn more about your food and then use protein shakes in specific scenarios if they're appropriate. Also, if you're interested in learning how to improve your recovery, you can download my free recovery guide, and links in the description and comments of this video. So the first scenario is if people follow a dietary pattern that means it's harder to get protein in their diet. So this might be due to religion or following something like a vegan diet. It might still be possible, but far harder from a time, cost, and practicality point of view. To get enough protein, and supplementing might be helpful. As we get older, it seems like we need more protein to build and maintain muscle, so I think it's quite reasonable to consider protein supplements to help with this as we age. In order to trigger muscle protein synthesis, we need more protein than when we were younger for the same effect, which means gradually increasing your protein intake as you get older is a sensible move. My usual advice is that if you're going to be eating a normal meal with a good protein source within about 45 minutes of finishing exercise, then you don't need to have a snack. But if it's going to be longer than 45 minutes, then a snack is a good idea to give your body the nutrients to kickstart the recovery process. Now, a protein supplement might make sense in this case, especially when combined with factors such as travel, or a delay in eating after finishing a swim session. I had a one-on-one client who I went through this with, and it turned out that after their swimming sessions, it was often about 75 or even 90 minutes before they had any food, because they would shower and chat to their club mates. This is a perfect example when you might want to include a recovery snack, and a protein shake could make sense. The more you train, the more important it is to nail your nutrition. So if you have a high training load or compete at a high level, then proper nutrition to help fuel your training and recovery is crucial. And again, I think protein supplements may have a bigger role here. Now, it's worth speaking about something which a lot of triathletes, runners and cyclists don't think about, and that's the risk of inadvertent doping. Any supplement, including protein shakes, carries a risk of containing substances that are prohibited by WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency. You're responsible for anything that goes into your body, and you need to do due diligence to ensure that you're minimizing the risk as much as possible and that you're keeping a track of what supplements you're using and why. So if you're an athlete who's involved in competitive sport and there's even the tiniest risk that you could be drugs tested, you should be keeping a log of the supplements that you use, why you're using them, and any evidence you've read about them, as well as the batch numbers for those products. Current guidance also advises that you keep this information for 10 years. Programs like Informed Sport help to reduce the risk of inadvertent doping offences by batch testing products for prohibited substances, but they can't completely remove the risk. So if you want some non-protein powder recovery options, then you can watch this video here for some ideas to help boost your recovery.